Merely those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
What's happening, football fans? It is time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
With your host, Loudesmond and Jeremy James. For the best takes in NFL and football betting, fantasy football, and the latest news, get ready to steer the line.
And thank you for joining us on another Friday night here on Steer the Line, coming to you live from, we're on a radio station in Southern California, but we're coming to you live from all over the place with the four of us here. Joined by Loudesmond, Cristian, and Rocky Giordani. I'm Jeremy James. Glad to have you along tonight. Everyone, how is everyone doing on this fine Friday? Loud, what's going on? You look funny.
Well, it's the last 20 minutes to be enough to drive you to drink. I made the last minute decision. I pulled a Rocky. I said, you know what? I'm going to my beach house. And it was getting a little warm this week where I live in Washington. It actually got above 80 degrees. So I really needed to get out of the heat. So I headed over to my beach house and, of course, discovered that my laptop is not syncing and isn't working, and it's a nightmare. And so that's why I'm on the phone, and it looks a little bit like a hostage video. But the audio sounds good. I'm here. I'm glad to be with you, and happy Friday and happy football. I'll tell you, I am so excited. This is how crazy I am about the football season. I started marking out exactly how far away we are and what days. And basically, as of August 11th going forward, there's football, except for maybe Tuesday and Wednesdays. Because you have multiple games on Thursday nights preseason football, multiple games on Saturday, multiple games on Sunday, 1 or 2 games on Monday. That's starting on August the 11th. And then on the 27th is week 0 of college football, which starts on the Thursday and goes through the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then the following week after that, you have college football week 1, which starts on Thursday and goes through while you have preseason finishing up. We are about to get a smorgasbord. It may be preseason, it may be college, but damn it, it's football. I can't wait.
Pretty excited also about it. What are we, 28 days from opening day, 27 days from opening day? Something like that?
The first preseason game is August the 4th.
Yeah, September. The opening game is like a month away.
September 11th. September 8th. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Thursday night game, September 8th.
Yeah. So, training camp is opening this week. I actually have tickets to training
Buffalo
camp.
and Raiders report Monday.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I was thinking about going to the training camp this Friday and reporting from there, but I don't. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to have any on-the-field access or be able to. So I'll be home. Too bad, but I really want to go to training camp and report from there next week.
Oh, we can get you a media credential, Rocky.
Attaboy.
I'll take it instead of him.
Yeah.
We can get that done. Radio station KMET in Southern California can get you a media credential to get you into any training camp you want to.
And I promise you, I'd get more than one on-screen interview from a couple guys I know on that Rams squad and in the coaching room. Cool.
And we can send Jeremy to Vegas to the Raiders, and me and Cristian can do the Pacific Northwest thing here and go do a visit to the Seahawks.
Listen, it's time.
It's just exciting to be talking about training camp again, to be honest. Things are going to start happening. There's going to be actual news going on again. And, I'm looking forward to it. Just a week away from football starting to matter once again.
Damn it.
Football widowers.
I don't do this normally on the show, but damn it, I'm excited. And Jeremy and I both grew up Raiders fans and remember the glory days, and we sure would like to get there again. Jeremy, the Raiders have the third most cap space available in the NFL right now at $21.5 million. Why haven't they done something with that money?
Honestly, I there's a few things that Raider Nation has been discussing when it comes to this kind of thing. One of the questions is, are they going to extend Darren Waller with some of that money because everyone else got extensions? But I think with Darren Waller, he has 2 years left on his contract, and I think they're going to let him play this year out. Last year was, a down year for him because of the injuries. He played hurt. I think they're going to give him a year to bounce back and see how he goes and see what kind of money they want to offer him next season when he has 1 year left on his contract. Extend him then. There's still some mutual interest, from what I understand, still some ongoing talks between the Raiders and Ndamukong Suh about bringing him in to play on the defensive line. That is just, I think, something where I don't think Ndamukong wants to go to training camp. And I don't think they'll need him to if they decide to sign him. So that might be something where you'll see him sign either with the Raiders or another team in a few weeks. But I think they're going to kind of do a little wait and see with who gets cut during training camp, during the off season. And there's a couple of spaces where, they might find some talent on the offensive line or in the secondary where they might be willing to spend a little money.
The one place that I have concern with the Raiders is the right side of the offensive line. And is there a lineman available? I know there was a right tackle that I think played for Cincinnati, who is 33, who is a free agent and still sitting on the sidelines. And there's a couple left tackles that are in their mid-30s also that are also out there. For me, as a Raiders fan, I know I'm being impatient, but please, for God's sake, we really ought to sign Ndamukong Suh and a backup plan at right tackle.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Suh signing. I know he's 36 now. He's not the impact player he used to be, but he still makes a difference. And especially you put him between a couple of guys like, Crosby.
Oh, how did he play for Tampa in that championship game that they lost?
Yeah,
he was
did
the
play
best
well.
player on their line.
So, yeah, I mean, he'd be, they wouldn't need him to come in and play full time. They'd have a rotation for him. So I think it'd be a good signing. And yeah, I like I said, I think as training camp starts going, maybe near the end of it, when they have a few days left for that first preseason game, then you'll see some movement on some of these veterans like Suh, who have just played plenty of years, can go in and give somebody what they need, and
I'm gonna
not
ask
have to
Christian,
go through the training camp rigors.
I'm going to ask Christian a question. Christian,
Yes.
what's the Raiders over/under win total number? I'm not in front of my normal computer. I'm having to use my phone to do the show tonight. So can you do some quick research for me and pull up?
I have it right here. Their over/under is 8.5.
What?
8.5 wins.
The Raiders over/under wins is 8.5.
Yes, that is
Rocky.
correct.
Yeah, and that's after they added some elite talent. So go figure.
Does that numbers? They won 9 games last year. Their coach
10 games.
They won 10 games last year. One of their players killed someone. One of their players threatened to kill a bunch of people and got cut. Their coach got cut in the 4th game of the season. They were led by a guy who had never been a head coach on any level, was a special teams guy. They got 10 wins last year with all of that, and all they did was add the consensus best wide receiver in the NFL and a better pass rushing duo now than they had last year. Okay. I don't get it. Rocky, I don't get it.
Obviously, they're counting on Kansas City to be a much better team than we think they're going to be, and they obviously they think Russell Wilson being in Denver is going to make a big difference. They're obvious; those have to be losses that they're counting in their division because they can't be counting those losses out of their division.
So the odds makers are counting on the Raiders being swept in division.
Or beaten by enough teams in the division. They think they're going to lose most of those division games. Obviously, that's the only way they could ever clean up a pick like that.
That's why you're seeing 8.5. And first of all, we know Raider hate in the media. No matter what they do, the Raiders are going to get downplayed. And then, they made improvements all over the place. They made some big improvements, bringing in Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams. Those are huge moves. And the media thinks that the moves that San Diego made, that Denver made, are even more impressive, I guess. You bring in Russell Wilson, you got a star quarterback all of a sudden. It's a bigger upgrade, I guess, than, a star wide receiver. Then you add guys with, like Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson to a defense in San Diego, and the media is going to jump all over that. So, with the Raiders even improving and being on the right path now with everything they've done, they're still looked at like the fourth best team in that division because, Kansas City's king and Denver and San Diego apparently made better moves.
Okay, all right. So this is a natural transition to one of the topics that producer Cristian, as opposed to producer Jeremy, Cristian Giordani assigned me. He said, Lou, tell me what you think of the Denver Broncos number over under 10.5. I know we spent hours talking about this, Cristian. I'm just going to go over this now. Bottom line is, if you bet the Denver Broncos are going to win 10 or less, you win the bet if they win 10 or less. If you bet they win 11 or more, then they have to win 11 or more to get over the 10.5 and you win. Let me just go through a little recent history. The Broncos won 7 games last year. In the years before that, their win totals were ready, 5, 7, 6, and 5. The last time they had double-digit wins was in 2015. Barack Obama was president. Peyton Manning was their quarterback. I mean, my God, it might have well been him in the Civil War, for God's sake.
Yes, we did.
I'm sorry? Okay. The big offseason move number 1 by Denver was, we're going to bring in the offensive coordinator to be our head coach from Green Bay, Nathaniel Hackett. Well, why did they really bring Nathaniel Hackett in to be their head coach, Rocky?
Probably because they didn't have one, and they thought they were going to get Aaron Rodgers.
They thought if we bring in Aaron Rodgers, offensive coordinator, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers. Did they get Aaron Rodgers?
Not even close.
No. Can I point something out about Nathaniel Hackett? I'm sure his mommy loves him. He's never been a head coach at any level. Not Pop Warner, not high school, not junior college, never. And his 2 coordinators, offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator that he has brought in, have never been an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator in the NFL. Rocky, when you bring in a bunch of inexperienced people at key positions, what usually happens?
Yeah, the learning curve at the pro level is enormous. These guys are probably going to take a beating for the first couple of years. For the first year, for sure. They're going to get trounced. I mean, they're not going to be able to figure anybody else out.
Denver not getting Aaron Rodgers made them, in my estimation, then overpay vastly to get Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's not a scrub, good quarterback, great guy, but guess what? I live in the Pacific Northwest. I watch every game he played last year. Let me just point this out about last year. He didn't crack the top 20 quarterbacks last year. Even before that, it's not like he's Tom Brady. In the 4 seasons before that, he made the top 10, but he was 10, he was 9, he was 8, he was 6. And he's got Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, which is considered by many the best receiving duo in the NFL. Now, he now goes to Denver, where what does he have at receiver? Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. Neither of those guys has lit the league on fire at all since they've come in. He's got a rookie tight end from UCLA. He's got nothing at running back. The offensive line is okay. Is he going to do better or do worse this year, Jeremy?
I think he's going to kind of play like he did last year. Same numbers wise. Because it's going to take a while for him to get used to this offense, to get used to that team and his receivers, for that coach to be able to, and that coordinator to get their game plans together and execute properly. There's a lot of learning curve here. And I think it's going to be a down year for Russell Wilson and the Broncos, no matter what people want to get super excited about. There's just a huge learning curve. I mean, you think the last time they had this situation with their coaches, it's the coach the Raiders have now. You know, it was McDaniel's first attempt at being a head coach. He brought in new coordinators, all his guys, and gave them jobs, and, you know, they struggled. That just happens, no matter who the coach is, when you bring in a bunch of new people.
That Orloff guy or whatever was it?
No, it was Tebow.
No, they got rid of Tebow. They made him get rid of Tebow.
But
yeah, okay, so you bring a new quarterback who's 33 years old, who's going to be 34 a couple games into the season, who had a very bad injury to his throwing hand, who didn't have a great year last year, into a team with a new head coach who's never been a head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, receivers he's never played with, nothing at tight end, nothing at running back, a good defense. Cristian, why is Denver at plus or under 10.5, and the Raiders, who made the playoffs last year, plus or under 8.5? Does it make any sense?
It doesn't make any sense. The whole situation about this is basically the overhype of Russell Wilson joining the Broncos.
Well, you know, Russell Wilson. How many games did they win last year, Lou? The Denver.
5.
Okay. Well, I figure Russell Wilson for 2 more wins. That's about it. So they probably go 7. Yeah. Okay.
Their average. Okay. Here's their seasons: 5, 7, 6, 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. You know what?
I don't think Wilson's enough.
Could be the new coach. Maybe nobody trusts Josh McDaniels. Maybe that's it. Well, it doesn't matter. They're all going to get burnt, right?
Okay, so here's the bottom line on this for me. If you look at, and we're talking about betting here, right? Yeah. If you look at Denver, they play in the toughest division in the NFL. And they have a new head coach. They have a new offensive coordinator. They have a new defensive coordinator. They have a new quarterback. They have not much in terms of talent on the outside, not much in terms of talent at the running back. They gave away their all-star tight end. They gave away one of their best pass rushers. Now, let's say they split with the AFC West, which I think is generous. That's 3 losses. Then they have winnable games at the Texans, Jets, Jaguars, and Panthers. But you know what? Those Panthers might be a little tougher than you think. And then they have to play at, late in the season, Titans, Ravens, Rams. At. They could lose all 3 of those games. And then coming to them, they have the 49ers, the Cardinals, and the Cardinals play them late in the season when they're going to have DeAndre Hopkins back, and they open the season on the road at the Seahawks. I don't like players going back to play at teams where they were for a long time, and the head coach knows all their tendencies. I think Seattle gets the win in that first game. I think 10 wins is the maximum for the Broncos, Cristian.
Yeah. I don't even put him at 10 wins. I put him at 7, exactly like how Rocky said. They don't have as
Jeremy.
much offensive power as anyone in the AFC East. I mean, AFC West, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like Rocky said, Russell Wilson is a good quarterback. He's on the downside of his career, and I think he's probably good for a couple more wins, maybe. But I think overall they're going to struggle. They're going to finish 4th in that division. They're not going to hit double-digit wins, and a lot of media people are going to be really surprised and disappointed by that, I guess, because they're really on this whole Russell Wilson bandwagon, and I'm just not ready to hop on that one at all.
All right, I've been driving the show. I'm going to shut myself up and let Cristian jump in here with what we should be talking about.
So this week I assigned our little group a top 10 ESPN ranking, or I'm sorry, not ESPN ranking, our own ranking of our each positions. I took wide receiver, Jeremy took quarterbacks, Rocky took defensive players, and how they're going to affect the over-under of their teams. So I'm going to go from 10 to 1. And at number 10, I have Philadelphia's newest wide receiver, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown has left Tennessee to what seems greener pastures in Philadelphia. I do have really good feelings about A.J. Brown going to Philadelphia this season. The team already won 9 games last year, and they snuck their way into the playoffs. With an addition like A.J. Brown, a talent like that, if Jalen Hurts improves this season, I can see the Eagles winning the division over the Cowboys. So they're only projected to win 8.5 games according to Vegas Insiders. All of these projections are according to Vegas Insiders. So I got these guys winning about 10 games this season, one more than they did last year. Any thoughts?
Nope.
Rocky, jump in there.
No, I can't disagree with any of Cristian's commentary there. I haven't done that much homework on those guys that he talked about, so I have no idea how they're going to place. My top defensive players, if you can just imagine the irony of it, are on the Rams, and I'd love to get into that, but I think there's some guys who came, like the guy came from Detroit, Ashawn Robinson. Remember, the Rams had some big holes after free agency. They had some big holes to fill. One of the biggest ones were at cornerback. And I think when they made big moves like adding Allen Robinson and Bobby Wags, everybody really just missed the big, most underrated play they made, and it was on defense when they brought Troy Hill in. And that was during the draft after they picked Logan Bruce, which was super important. He will start on the offensive line. They went after a cornerback. They went and got Jacoby Durant. Now, if you think of Darius Williams, who left in free agency, think of him with blazing speed, and that's Jacoby Durant. Much better. But what Troy Hill brings to the defense, besides experience, half of the 8 draft picks of the Rams are going to play in secondary. Defensive secondary. So this is important. They brought in a secondary that was a liability is now a huge strength. They brought in Troy Hill. Troy Hill, not important in the quarterback's game, highly mentioned it. This guy's really good against the run. He can move into slot corner on 3rd and short and stop the sweep. He's great
by the way,
he can play every snap.
By the way, in Raiderland, we call that 3rd and Renfro. Cristian, go back to the top of your segment. Who are the 10 players?
10 players. At number 9, I have Jamar Chase, Jay Chisholm. Jamar Chase is only 1 season into his career and is already a top 10 talent in the NFL in wide receiver, of course. The Bengals already addressed their biggest problem last season, their offensive line. And this gives Joe Burrow so much more time to find his target. And that target is going to be Jamar Chase a majority of the season. Joe Burrow throws 36% of his passes to Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase, when Joe Burrow's on the field, catches 72% of his catches. So they're only projected to win 9.5 games, which is absurd to me. We've gone over this over and over
crazy
again.
to me. Okay,
exactly.
Sorry.
So we've gone over this multiple times, how they're only projected to win 9.5 games. And I got them winning 12 games this season. being one of the best teams in the AFC.
They're my dark horse Super Bowl pick.
It's funny to say a dark horse Super Bowl pick to the guys who were
That
just in the
was
Super
just
Bowl
there
last
and
year.
got better. I mean, it's so weird. I wonder sometimes how much the media has influence on the betting, because it's as much sociology and psychology as it is math. Because if the casual fan constantly hears, oh, Russell Wilson's going to make Seattle a Super Bowl contender, and oh, the Raiders just suck, and Aaron Rodgers made Devontae Adams, not the other way around, and if the big lie just gets said over and over and over again, do people just buy it? And that's what I think is happening. There's a definition in betting of there are squares and there are sharps. Squares are the people that listen to the noise and follow the crowd. The sharps are the people that bet against the trend, and they win. Right, Rock?
I think a lot of it is also clickbait, Lou. They make money now for how many times people hit those comments. And I think journalists now, instead of worried about telling the truth about a story, are trying to get a headline. Russell Wilson admits what we've always known. What? That he likes being in Denver, or some stupid crap after you open it. You know, I think a lot of it, journalism that I've been seeing on sports is really just clickbait, because you get in there and it has nothing to do with. There's no substance at all towards anything that would matter towards as far as how good or bad this column is going to explain for your team. It's just clickbait. They just write whatever they want.
All right, Jeremy, take us out of KMET and back into the other YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're unfortunately we already missed that boat. We're out of KMET. Yeah, we were in the middle of talking, so they know the routine. They'll be back next week.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I want to talk about Super Bowl futures. Anybody else want to pick some way too early Super Bowl bets?
Yeah,
you mean
we
like
could do
winner?
that instead of finishing the other 8 receivers on Christian's list.
No, let's finish the other receivers.
I'll go a little bit faster. So number 8, we got another young talent, Justin Jefferson. Jefferson is another extremely young talent that's heading to only his 3rd season. He finished 2nd in yards this season and 7th in touchdowns. With Green Bay looking weak, with losing Devontae Adams, the Vikings are going to go into a win-now mode. Justin Jefferson is going to take a giant leap this season, especially if Kirk Cousins isn't horrible. All Kirk Cousins needs to be is a competent quarterback. They're only projected to win 8.5 games.
I love the comment. Only if he is not horrible. You know, thank God my wife doesn't say that to me. You know, if you're just not horrible, we'll be okay. That's great.
That's exactly what Kirk Cousins been this past year. Was not terrible, but not
you like
great.
that.
Yeah, I just need Kirk Cousins to be a little bit better than he already is, and this team could be a really good playoff contender. They could even contend to win their own division.
They're going to win that division. You heard it here first.
So they're only projected to win 8.5 games. I got them winning 9, maybe 10. At number 7, we have DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf has been going all over the news. You know, is he going to stay in Seattle? Is he going to leave? Are they going to pay him? Are they going to trade him? This whole situation, I'm saying right now, is if DK stays. If DK stays and Drew Lock isn't as terrible as you all say, and he's great, like I know he will be, Seattle's going to win way over the 5.5 games and win somewhere close to 8 to 9 games. Next, we have DeAndre Hopkins. Now, DeAndre Hopkins, we all know, will miss the first 6 games of the season, which is a complete third of the season. The Cardinals are going to have a terrible start to the season. The importance that DeAndre Hopkins has to this offense is extremely underlooked. Kyler Murray throws over 45.3% of his passes to DeAndre Hopkins. And with DeAndre Hopkins in the lineup, he throws 72% completion rate, which is super efficient. But when DeAndre Hopkins is out of the lineup, he only throws 65%. So with D-Hop out for a large portion of the season, the Cardinals fall way under the 9.5 wins. At number 5, I have Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's situation is exactly the same as DK Metcalf. Is he going to stay? Is he going to sit? Are they going to trade him? Now, in my opinion, I don't think DK is going to get traded, but I don't think he's going to play either. I think he's going to sit for the rest of the season until he gets a contract. So, and with Garoppolo gone and Trey Lance doing his rookie year,
whoa! That is a huge. He's going to do a Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown,
Really?
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
That would be a bombshell. Wow. Jeremy, you think that happens?
I mean, honestly, that's the first time I've heard that take. That he's going to sit. I've heard people say, oh, he might sit through training camp, but by week 1 he'll want to play, or he'll sit out and then be ineligible to play for like the first 6 weeks or something like that, and then be able to come back. That I could see as maybe a possibility, but sitting out an entire season, I mean, does he want? Is it about the money, or does he want out of San Francisco that bad? That would be my question. If that's
all right,
what
so
it comes down to.
here's my concern about this. Their big success with Debo was put him in the backfield and either run him with the ball or fake run him with the ball or throw him the ball or screen pass him the ball. And he basically has told the 49ers, I don't want to be used that way. I'm not a running back. I'm a wide receiver. Remember when what was his name? The phenom Washington quarterback, Robert Williams III?
Robert Griffin.
Robert Griffin III.
Right. And he got injured that one year, and then mom and dad had dinner with the owner and Robert, and they said, we don't want him to be – we want Robert to be a pocket passing quarterback. And then his career was over. I'm very concerned that if Debo Samuel stays with the 49ers, it's going to be because he's got some kind of promise that they're only going to use him in a certain way.
Very likely.
There he is.
Sorry.
Those promises have probably already been made.
Right?
I think he's going to stay.
I mean, if he stays, he's not going to play. Right? He's told the 49ers, don't use me this way. You're gonna end my career. But the reason they were winning so much last year, and a guy that I know won his fantasy football league, was because of Debo Samuel, because they were using him that way. Jeremy, is he worth keeping if he's not going to play the role they want him to play?
Well, I mean, yeah, he's still a fantastic receiver. Before they discovered that he, can do that out of the backfield, he still was playing. He's still in the top 10 receivers out there, and he's a talented guy. I would do it. I would say, okay, we won't run you anymore. We got plenty of running backs. We got a quarterback who can run now. Maybe we don't need to use Debo in that manner anymore. Let's, just stick him in the slot once in a while and put him on the outside and let him do his thing, catch the ball, score that way. You have other options out of the backfield. You don't need to put that wear and tear on your top receiver. He's not built that way, and running backs take a beating unlike any other position in this league. So, yeah, it will shorten his career, and I don't think it's necessary. Let the guy play wide receiver and let him play it well, because he does.
Yeah, he's obviously a top 5 talent as a receiver, of course. But
all right, Cristian, moving on.
Yeah. We have number 4, Tyreek Hill. The Cheetahs in Miami now, and he is the highest paid receiver in football. So he is irreplaceable in this offense, arguably the fastest guy in football. He is the number 1 option on this team. Now, with Miami only projected to win 8.5 games, they will be in contention for a wild card spot. Tyreek will be the deciding factor whether these guys make it or not. It's going to be him and Tua. So if Tua can keep up with Tyreek and Tyreek can match with Tua well, these guys could be a wild card spot. They're not beating the Bills in the division, but they can definitely outbeat the Patriots for that wild card spot. And number 3, a little controversial for some people, I got Stephon Diggs. We all know Stephon's that guy in Buffalo. Arguably, we all know he's that guy in New York, in the whole state. He arguably also has the best quarterback in football, which can't hurt him at all. Despite having a down year, he did finish top 8 in yards and top 6 in touchdowns. But with Cole Beasley gone, I expect his numbers to extremely improve and for him to have at least top 5 in all receiving stats. He will be the factor for the Bills winning over 11.5 games, but I don't believe he's going to be the main factor. Josh Allen's the reason. He's just going to be the helping factor in the equation. Now, number 2, we have Devontae Adams.
Careful, bro.
Devontae Adams could be argued the best receiver in football if Cooper Kupp didn't win the Triple Crown. But with his move to Sin City, he could be in contention to win a Super Bowl. Now, with the supporting cast like Hunter Renfro, or Third and Renfro, as you guys like to call him, and Cole Keelan, Devontae Adams' numbers will go down. That's just how it is when you have a good supporting cast of it. It's not going to hinder his career. It's just going to be a little down, Mitch. It's not going to be terrible. It's just going to be what it is. He's also going to be reunited with his college quarterback, Derek Carr. We all love Derek Carr. That chemistry is just going to be insane. Now, the Raiders, like we said earlier in the show, are only projected to win 8.5 games. And we all know that's absurd. Devontae Adams is going to be the guy to get him way over 8.5. I think they win 11 this year. I know you and Jeremy are happy to hear that. Ain't that right?
So who's in one receiver?
So happy.
At number 1, the reigning Triple Crown winner, the reigning Super Bowl MVP, the reigning Offensive Player of the Year, second most receiving yards in a single season, Cooper Super Kupp.
No, there's no doubt about it. Cooper Kupp, with all the accolades and all the awards he won, he broke records. He was the best receiver last year. But it would be very hard not to argue that Devontae Adams might be number 1 in 2022. I kind of have Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp sharing 1 and 2. But I have my list a little different than yours, Christian. I like DeAndre Hopkins as my 3rd, Stephon Diggs my 4th. I got the Cheetah, Tyreek Hill, down to 5. Then Jamar Chase, Justice Harrison, Mike Evans. That's my top 10. But I love the top 2, man. Lou.
Did we lose Christian? I think we lost Christian.
Christian, you good?
We
And
might
Lou's
have
muted.
lost Christian, but here's the deal.
Might have lost Christian. Yeah, he could be drunk again. Just kidding.
No, he doesn't even drink, that guy. Come
Of course
on.
not. His mom's listening,
I
so
want
don't
to point
freak her
something out. This is the time of year I like to do NFL future bets.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? The chalk bet, meaning the team most likely to win the Super Bowl, the Buffalo Bills, is plus 650 right now. You put a $100 bet down and the Buffalo Bills, the chalk of the chalk, wins, and you still win $750. Now, the problem is with betting futures bets is the quarterback gets hurt, the coach gets fired. I mean, a lot can happen. So here's what I've got. I'm going to take $300 and I'm going to spread it around among most of the top bets to win the Super Bowl. And here's the thing. You can't lose. Jeremy, do you like bets where you can't lose?
Well, I mean, I'd probably bet more often if I had bets I can't lose, but then also, what's the fun in knowing you're going to win all the time?
Well, the question is how much you're going to lose or win. And in this case, the worst you're going to win is $90. The worst you're going to lose, unless a team that is way below the top 12 teams in the NFL wins the championship, is $0. And if one of my top picks wins, you're going to get $500. So let me run it down. Ready? We have a $300 kitty. We're putting down $75 on the Bills. It's plus 650. That's going to pay you 562.50. Next is Brady's Buccaneers. Place 850 on a $55 bet pays you 510. The Chiefs come next at 950. 45 pays you 472.50. The Chargers at plus 1,000. 40 plays you 440. The Packers at 1,200. 35 pays you 390. The Rams at $30 plus 1,200 plays you 390. And then I skip over two teams and go to the Bengals, who I'm paying $25 to pay $525. And the honest truth is, I actually put an extra $30 on the Rams at plus 1,200 to pay me $840. So Rocky, Bills, Buccaneers, Chiefs, Chargers, Packers, Rams, Bengals. Is there another team that will win the Super Bowl this year? And I'm wrong.
Win the Super Bowl. Well, you kind of left our Raiders out of there. So
I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl.
I don't either, but they're a dark horse. If you're talking about 10 teams that could win or 7 or 8 teams that could win, I don't think the Packers should be in there. But I don't
either.
Yeah, I would, but they're in there. You had them in there, so I would.
I had to.
I would get rid of the Chiefs and the Packers and maybe put in the Raiders. I don't know. I don't like the Titans either. Really, you know what? Minnesota's going to win that division, and the Rodgers isn't going to be in the playoffs. Let's see, it's wild card in. Minnesota and Raiders. I would take out the Chiefs and the Packers and put in the two dark horses.
So the bottom line is, if you followed my betting strategy and you put the money in I'm talking to you about, the worst you could do was win $90. Sure. The best you could do was win 510. And that's if chalk wins. Buffalo, Kansas City, etc.
The number one rated team never wins the Super Bowl. Anybody ever notice that? Just never happens. I'm going to put my money on the Rams and the Bengals. Even though I called the Bills and the Rams the Super Bowl, I think they go back.
A repeat? Nah. We're not going to get a repeat of last year's game.
Hey, Jeremy, talk to me about the top NFL MVP odds.
I don't know about the NFL MVP odds. I wasn't asked to talk about the NFL
Christian.
MVP odds.
Derek Carr is at plus 2,000.
Wow.
Wasn't he close to getting the MVP the second year in the league when he got his ankle broke?
That was like year 4, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he was definitely in the discussion that year. And they won 12 games, and he had some really good receivers to throw to. He put up some of probably his best career. That's when he broke 30 touchdowns that year. I think he threw 32 or 33. I think we're going to get a little combination of what he did that year and what he did this year when it comes to him. I think he's going to have kind of a career year. He's going to push another 4,800 to 5,000 yards. And I think this is going to be the year he throws his most touchdowns. I think he's going to be pushing, 35 touchdowns, if not a few more, with the weapons he has around him. I think Devontae's good for 12 to 15 on his own.
I think Derek Carr is probably the 4th best quarterback in the league as far as chances to win MVP. Behind the guys who are the perennial winners. You got Brady and Mahomes and Rodgers, and I don't think Rodgers is going to be in there, but I would put Derek Carr up there around 3rd best, and I think Matthew Stafford has it.
If you have a guy like Devontae Adams on your team as your number 1 option, and
he's going to make Derek Carr look.
He's going to make Derek Carr so much better, and he's going to bring more publicity to Raiders, and that's what really runs the MVP voting. It's a popularity contest at the end of the day. Despite all the stats and everything else, it's narrative driven.
It's a popularity vote. It really is.
Yeah, it's heading into the season. I know a lot of Raider Nation is fired up, excited, and I think they have a reason to be. some good improvements. Say what you will about having a new coach. I'm looking forward to seeing what McDaniels does this time around. He said all the right things. He seems much more mature and ready for this job. He brought a lot of great people in on that staff. So, there's a lot to hope for and a lot to look forward to, I think, for Raider Nation. But, it's not even training camp yet. All 32 teams have something to look forward to, I would think,
Sure.
heading into training camp, unless you're the Cleveland Browns, otherwise you have some hope.
What a nightmare.
The
only team of 32 that has nothing to look forward to.
The team that would do that, though, would be the Browns. The Browns always seem to stick.
So I don't know. Looks like we lost Loud. I don't know if we're gonna get.
Yeah,
him
even the
back.
Jaguars look better this year.
Yeah, even the Jets look better. That's how bad it is.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, truer words were never spoken. Before the season starts, all 32 teams feel like Super Bowl champs. We're gonna get it. This is our year. You'll be fun.
So I remember earlier, Cristian, you did your wide receivers. You say Rocky had a list of top 10 defensive players.
I was doing that, but I didn't have a list of top 10. I was just I thought we were supposed to pick our picks from the top 10 receivers in our opinion. Now, see, my opinion of defenders are not going to be the most popular picks. There are guys that came into the Rams from, like the guy that came, Ashawn Robinson came from Detroit after Matt Patricia just scorched him and tried to end his career and just demeaned him every day. He came in like a beat puppy, and the Rams will coach him up, and this guy is going to be good. We had some big holes to fill. We had some very critical positions to deal with, to take issue with, and the Rams have done a really good job about that. I'm paying close attention, and I'm watching, I'm listening to the chatter, and it looks like these guys, Ashawn Robinson is going to be a great defensive tackle. It looks like Troy Hill, of course, is going to bring a veteran leadership to what was a liability, that Rams secondary. They're going to be one of the elite secondaries, in my opinion, with their safety help. Now, remember the Rams are working this defensive zone scheme for the most part, and Jalen Ramsey and Troy Hill are gonna kill in that. They're gonna make a lot of teams miserable. I can go on about a few more defensive players, but they're all in the Rams, Jeremy. So, I'm doing most of my work on the Rams. That would be along the lines of a Rams update as far as how the defensive players are brought in. And by the way, I mentioned Logan Bruce. Remember the kid I thought was going to go higher in the draft, the Rams' first pick at like 104? And he's going to start. This rookie's going to start. They got him in the third round, Jeremy, and he's going to start. He will be a starting he's probably going to start at right tackle, right guard, on the right side line. And I expect next year they're going to move him over. Their first most important thing they had to do was retain Noteboom. Their offensive line, after losing Whitworth, was the most important, most critical area they had to address. So they re-signed their veterans right away. Then they went out and got Logan Bruce. Then they went after a cornerback. After they drafted Bruce, they drafted the Kobe draft, then they traded during the draft for Troy Hill, which I think was just a great move, the most underrated move of the offseason this year. Brought in Bobby Wags. I don't know, man. Maybe. Oh, Jeremy, within the ninth pick, the Rams they went out and got an edge rusher named Cristian. What's his name?
I can't remember.
Anyway, the guy is a beast, man. The guy's a beast. We were watching a film of this guy standing in a swimming pool, Jeremy, up to his waist. No hands, jumping out of the pool. Greg Hardy. No, Greg Hardy's the bottom. Anyway, his name's Hardy. Daniel Hardy, I think. Daniel Hardy. This guy's going to be good. That's why they didn't go after an edge rusher after they lost Von Miller. They went ahead and looked at a receiver. When they thought they couldn't keep Von Miller, they went and got a receiver, went out and spent their money on Robinson. And it's all working out, Jeremy. I don't see any flaws in their thinking as the preseason comes around, as training camp comes around. It looks like they made all the right moves, man. This is going to be a very tough team to beat. If you're a Rams fan, watch this show, because as the season comes along, there will be some betting. You can bet on it, man.
But while we still got a few minutes, and talking about what we're expecting from some teams, I want to do a little something on a team that you and Lou, Rocky, have been on board with. And I've recently found myself getting on board heading into this season with the Detroit Lions. I've been doing my fantasy football homework here recently, really diving into it. And I'm looking at what this team has done in the offseason. You look at what they did at the end of last year. They won some games they weren't supposed to. They started getting even more competitive. Jared Goff was getting more comfortable with that offense. He goes into this season with, the tight end Hawkinson, Amon St. Brown, the rookie from last year who had a good season. But then, you look at some of the guys they added. It wasn't like superstars, but, they added, I think it was Josh Reynolds, former Ram, who's probably going to be their fourth guy over there. They brought in DJ Chark, who has had a couple 1,000-yard seasons playing in Jacksonville with lesser quarterbacks at the time. The guy's got a lot of talent. He's coming off an injury, but they've given Jared Goff some legitimate pieces to work with in that offense now. And they even drafted a young guy in Jamison Williams, who we don't know when he's going to play, but when he gets on the field, he's going to be an instant upgrade for that offense. You add that to that coach, the defense that they had last year got better as the year went on. The moves they made on defense, including the young defensive end they drafted at number 1 or 2. Detroit's going to be fun to watch this year. I think Detroit's going to win some games. They're going to surprise some people, and they could be a sneaky, number 7 playoff team sneaking in at the end there.
Sure, you don't need to field 11 all-stars. You just need 11 guys who are efficient at their job and do their job, do what they're supposed to do. And I think that's what Detroit has done. And remember, they're in that division with the stinky old Bears. I think that, and I don't think the Packers are going to be the force that they have been in the past. I really don't. I think they just said, okay, we're going to pay Aaron Rodgers, keep the fans in the seats, and keep getting our fan money and just ride it out. I don't think they're going to be. I really think Minnesota wins that division, and Detroit is right there, comes in second. It's all going to depend on what they do within that division, I think, to see who ends up going to the playoffs. Right now, I think Minnesota's the favorite, but yeah, I agree. Detroit has made some good moves, and I watched them at the end of last season, especially when they played the Rams, and they were really good. And you're right, that new coach is an ankle biter, man. He's gonna have you guys playing smash mouth football. Go out and hit somebody. Well, what do I do on this formation? Just go hit somebody. Hit somebody, okay? I mean, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be running around just smashing people in the face. It's going to be fun to watch. I like the Detroit Lions a little bit. A lot better than I did last year. And I like Jared Goff, and I really hope he does well.
Yeah, Detroit's going to be a lot tougher this year. They're going to be a lot of hard-nosed football, like Rocky said. It's going to be like the 90s again in football, man. They're going to go out there to hurt people. They're not going out there to win, but they're going out there to get those guys off the field.
You know what the best bet on the board might be? The team that played the Lions last week, they're probably going to be so beat up that the next week they won't cover the spread. And that's a real thing. Now, I'm going to watch for that as the season goes on and see how many times that plays out. The team that played the Raiders and the Lions the week before, they're so beat up that they might not win the next week, whether they win or lose against the Lions or the Raiders. And that's going to be one of the bets I'm going to watch as the season goes on.
All right, we got a couple of minutes left. We're running up on the end here, though. Anything you want to add as we head into, because by next week we're going to be talking training camp. So
training camp, baby.
As we head into training camp, what's on your mind? Last couple minutes here.
Yeah, I might go to training camp next Friday. I have tickets. I was going to take Cristian with me, but it doesn't look like we're able to broadcast from there unless I can do a hotspot down on the field. It wouldn't be worth the trip. So I'll be here. We'll see what happens.
It'd still be fun.
Next Friday. But Jeremy, the Raiders and the Rams are going to make a move this week before training camp. You might see them spend some of that cap money. This is the time they would do it. This is when they would do it. We got to get them in before training camp. It's the latest in the off season that you can pull the trigger. So let's see what they do with some of that cap money. I don't expect the Raiders to go into the season with all that money. I really don't. They gotta be looking at someone, right? OBJ.
Maybe. I mean, Raider Nation, at least on Twitter, is all about OBJ signing. I wouldn't be against it. They could use another guy on the other side of Devontae. They got some guys there, but they don't have, a true number 2 right now. But OBJ would be interesting. I think that he is gonna take his time. I think he's gonna wait. He can pick where he goes, and I think he's gonna wait until he's healthy. He's gonna find the spot where he gets to go in, get the ball, and make the playoffs. So I don't think he'll be signed until probably late October, early November when he's ready to go.
When he's ready to play, yeah. Well, it's gonna be cool. Hope he goes to the Rams.
Me too.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week. I want to thank everyone for joining us, whether it was here on YouTube or Twitch or on the radio. We don't know what happened to Loud, but he'll be back next week. We'll all be back with you next week for another round of Steer the Line. So until then, enjoy your week. Have a great weekend. Go Raiders, go Rams, and go football. See you guys.
Go NFL.